Hey lovely people, welcome back. Welcome to today's video, which is Warhammer Imperium issue 45. It's a Canoptek Wraith. Fantastic. Right, yeah, I'm excited. Let's get into this. So this is one of three that we're going to get. We'll look at the plastic in a mo. I'm looking forward to building that. Right, here we go. We get the Alien Tides trifold. So Tau Empire, Tyranids. We had the Orcs on the front, and Eldari and Drukhari. So that looks good. Now, here we go. Order of the Valorous Heart. That's one of the Adeptus Sororitas chapters, orders. Xenos Races fold out, which we've seen, and build and paint a Canoptek Wraith. So we get straight off the data sheet or the info sheet for the Canoptek Wraith. Swift Deadly Hunters. They kind of remind, is it the Trigon in the Tyranids? Somebody let me know if it's the Trigons in the Tyranids that do burrowing and like writhe around on a long tail. Look a bit like this. These remind me of the mechanical constructs of that. So it looks like they have different weapons options as well. So that could be interesting. I'll have to look and see if these are going to be potentially capable of being magnetised. It was a bit disappointing that I couldn't magnetise the tomb blades because the parts that I would need to trim and add magnets to were so flimsy that I just think it would not have gone together afterwards. But you've got a battle record for it. Now this will be the only info sheet that we get for the Wraith. And I think we get 3 of these types of sprues, which potentially means that we'll get them spread over 3 issues, similar to what we did with the Catron Destroyers and potentially what's going to happen with the Tomb Blades. So Adeptus Sororitas weapons and war gear. So we have a D33 random war gear names generator, Scepter of the Cardinal. Okay. Adeptus Sororitas melee weapon names, D33 random generator table. And Adeptus Sororitas ranged weapon names, D33 random names generator table. We have information on the Valorous Heart, which is one of the Orders Majoris within the Sisters, and Order of the Argent Shroud. So we're talking, another part for the red section is this Astra Militarum Factions 02, information on the Guard. Come on GW, do a plastic Elysian drop troop army, please. Please. How to build your Canoptek Wraith. Could be. Yeah, I think magnetising may be possible. I'm going to have to look at it and see. Right. Anyhow, build a Canoptek Wraith. So we've got quite a few sections here, and you are going to need to pause a couple of times to make sure that you are getting the alignment right. Sorting out the claws, etc. Yeah, I'm loving the look of these. Whip coils. Oh, fantastic. Whip coils. Instead of vicious claws, the Canoptek Wraith can be equipped with whip coils. Yeah. That sounds good. I'll have to have a look at the data sheet. I think having collected this and with all this stuff that I got in Indomitus, it may well be I'm going to have to get a Necron Codex. Oh dear. Right, anyhow, how to paint your Canoptek Wraith. I'm probably going to be following the similar paint scheme for the spider that I did. Canoptek Wraith data sheets. So we've got a movement of 12 inches, weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 4+, strength 4, toughness 5, wounds 3, 4 attacks, leadership 10 and a 3+ save. So it has a particle caster as a ranged weapon, which is 12 inches, pistol 1, a transdimensional beamer, which is 12 inches, assault 1, or vicious claws or whip coils. Okay. Cool. We'll have a look. We'll have a look and see what the rule of cool is. Right, tutorial. Wraith form. Canoptek Wraiths constantly phase in and out of reality as they move across the battlefield. This makes them hard to hit, granting them a 4+ invulnerable save. In addition to this, Canoptek Wraiths can move horizontally through both models and terrain without having to move around or over them. A Wraith cannot end its move on top of another model. Ah, that's handy. Initiate 06 mission. Canoptek infestation. Beneath the surface of the Hive City, the Necrons have unleashed swarms of Canoptek constructs to hunt down survivors and atomize key Imperial facilities. Under the leadership of a Canoness of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, a series of small Imperial strike teams have entered the stricken Hive, seeking to cull their Canoptek foes and prevent them from completing their campaign of terror and destruction. Necrons Technomancer. Elimination protocols. Under the command of the cunning Cryptek, all varieties of Canoptek constructs prepare ambushes for their unsuspecting human foes. They have only one goal: eliminate any Imperial forces foolish enough to stray into the lethal depths of the Electian Hive complex. Imperium, Canoness. Sweep and clear. The Mechanicus facilities buried beneath Electia's crust hold many advanced weapons, deactivated battle services and mechanical equipment. The Canoptek swarms must not be allowed to overrun these locations lest they destroy a veritable treasure trove of invaluable equipment. Scout mission, cleanse the Hive, refer to rules reference. Right, mission briefing. Imperial forces sweep through the Hive depths, fighting off Necron ambushes and cleansing areas infested with Canoptek constructs and their Canoptek overseers. Forces in play: 1 Technomancer, 3 Canoptek Tower Swarms, 3 more Canoptek Scarab Swarms, 1 Canoptek Spider, 1 Canoptek Wraith and 1 Tombblade. So the Imperium is using the Canoness, the Tech Priest Dominus, Tech Priest Engine Seer, the 10 Skitari and the 3 Cataphrone Destroyers. So we're using the mats from issue 4 and issue 38, so on the pale grey side. Deployment zones on each end. It just says set up terrain as you see fit, and then alternate deploying your units wholly within their respective deployment zones. So there you go, that's that. Right, let's have a look at the plastic. Plastic. Come down. And let's have a look. Right, so you get 50mm base for this. And yeah, here we go. So these are our 2 whips. Got one there and one there. And this looks to be like the body parts, the main body parts. The tail is quite substantial. It's a 2011 sculpt, and it's still a nice sculpt. It's still nicely detailed. I mean, fair play to GW. They don't on a lot of their older sculpts. You know, the mould lines might be a bit heavy, but you very rarely get any flash. So yeah, this is one weapon, I think, and I can't see the other one. Is that part of it? Don't know. But yeah, this is, I think this is going to be another fun build. I'm going to enjoy this. It's going to be another fun build. I think we're going to need to make sure we get all the claw arms in. I'm probably going to go with blades, actually, looking at this. I think the blades rather than the whip, rather than the whippy bits, will probably be better if I want to destroy vehicles, etc. I think as a scything blade, there's a slight stress bend, because you can tell because the plastic's turning white. Obviously that's being slightly damaged during transit, so just be wary of that. But yeah, it's looking good. I'm looking forward to building this one. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, join me in a second, we'll build it. Okay, so the first thing I need to point out on this is the instructions for, well, we seem to have been given a different sprue to the one which is being shown in the instructions, because the tail with the spike is clearly, which is this bit, is clearly very different, and then obviously this is the bit that attaches to the carapace, so it's not as large. So I've got a different sprue here to what I should have got. Now that makes it very interesting, because it's saying the tail is significantly different. So this tail apparently curls like a bit of concertina barbed wire, I suppose, or a spring coil, whereas this one, instead of curling, it sits on the base like so. I do apologise if you can hear the neighbours shouting at each other. I've got the windows open because it's so hot. So yeah, this one sits on the base like so. Now, it's not the be all to end all, as long as I get the right sprues in the next issues. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start off with gluing the tail together and to the base, and the reason I'm doing that, as per usual, is just to make sure that it goes off in plenty of time for when I then put the body onto it. So that one goes on like so, and then on the underside it's got these flattened areas, and those are what will glue to the base. So I'm going to just pop it down like that, and there you go. So I can set that aside to let it dry and let it go off. Other than that, it appears that I think most of it, although you obviously need to check numbered parts, I think most of it is readily identifiable. The first thing you're going to glue on is this piece, and you absolutely, definitely, positively need to glue that into position, because if you don't glue that into position first and glue this into position first, you then have a problem in that you can't get that in past this spine here. So yeah, glue that into position first. The tail end of the carapace, and then now these are keyed so they go together one way. That was the piece I wanted. So, and then the next one is this. So that's your first stage. You've then got a second stage. And I actually find that it's actually easier to glue these parts into position under the carapace. So put like the top half. So you've got these two bits, which is the same for all of these. So they go together like that. And it's actually easier to glue this into position here first, and then glue the other one on top so that you're not potentially getting glue on your fingers. That's what I have found. And then, like I say, you can pop the glue on. Like thus. And then this joins on here. So and then just pop that aside, let it go off. We then have a tiny little end cap just going in place here. It is keyed, so it should only fit on one way, like thus. Okay, so for ease of filming, I have done one side, and I'm just going to point out that ideally you do these first, then these three, and then your front claw. You should also have put your head on, which is this piece, and I've chosen this face plate. So pop that on like thus, and then I'm actually not going to pop that in until I have done the put the rest of it together, because then I can sort of like position it how I want to. The next thing I'm going to glue together is part of the gun assembly, and the reason I'm going to glue this together now is so that it has a chance to go off and the glue to dry. And I am magnetising this. This is fairly easy to magnetise, and we'll talk about that. So the next thing are these little items, which are just sort of like miniature arms with energy balls in, and they go 1, 2, 3 here. I've positioned mine slightly differently to what's gone on, but just be sure to put your ball, like your mechanical ball socket joint, attached to the body, and then this piece here, which looks like it's an energy orb, it's all smooth apart from a couple of little square cutouts, goes outside. And then the largest one just goes in there, like so. We then come to our claws, and these go from small to large. Now the largest one will go towards the front, so we start at the back with the smallest one, and these, once you've slotted them in, you can sort of like pivot them a little bit. You can't turn them inwards unless you cut off the pin. So there's a pin on the there's a pin on the end of the ball socket there. So if you want to just turn them inwards a little bit more, you know, a bit like when woodlice curl up and bring all their legs in, you could do that. But for this model I may do that on the next one. So that's what we've ended up with so far. The main claw, so this little item here is the weapon, and this is the body of the weapon, and that there's recesses in the front of this that will go into. So I'll just pop in a little bit there and there. That into place. This then marries up to it. Make sure you give it a firm push together. And then you can pop this in. Now this has got a cable on it, and there's a hole just inside there, so you slot it in, and then you can position this kind of any way you like. You do still need to glue it, and so I'm just going to go with that position. So you need to glue it, and then that will go in the front. I just need to unblock the pilot hole. That's better. So So I've gone for that kind of positioning. Let's pop this onto the body. Now it is keyed so that once it goes on it won't twist. So I do suggest you glue up its backside. And just glue it into position. That may take a little bit of time to go off properly. Anywho, in the meantime, I'm just going to round this out because I drilled it with a 3mm drill bit. 3mm is the biggest drill bit I recommend for drilling this, and a 3mm magnet is the biggest sized magnet I recommend. So what I've done is I've already drilled 2mm pilot holes into the ends of the weapons. They come with a little cross key which sits into a recessed cross in there. Obviously I've drilled that out, I've cut that cross off on the end of these, popped in a magnet in one, just take that magnet off, leave it there. What I'm going to do is, to make sure I get polarity right, pop that onto the weapon that I've magnetised, and then I shall pop in a little bit of super glue. So my trusty needle, we can get some super glue on that and pop that on the inside. Like thus. And then using the bit that I've got the magnet on, I'm going to push that in like so. And then I will pop in a little bit of super glue. Into there. Try and find my magnet. Bugger. So I've got my magnet. I'm going to stick it onto there. And then going to carefully, so that polarity is correct, put it on the end of my scalpel, take it away, and then I can push it into the weapon that I've super glued. And then all my weapons will fit like that. So that's how you magnetise these. The weapon is then glued to the body using these weapon arms, and you don't glue it to the pins here. It recommends not gluing it to the pins. That way you can then get a swivel up and down, or a pivot up and down motion on the weapon. So it says to push these in, one there and one there, like so. And then this glues into, this helps if I get that up the right way. And then, making sure you get it round the right way, it glues into, there's slots on the underneath of the body, and it glues into those. So there's a set of aligned slots, one there, get this, just pop it straight in like so. And that's how you do your weapon, so that you can put the different weapon arms on, like thus. Now, and it should also allow you to pivot the arm when the glue's set up and down. So now I'm just going to do the final bit for me, which is pop the head in. And I'll have him perhaps looking down that way. Right, so there you go. That is it. That is your Necron Wraith. That's how it goes together. This was, as I said, this was a different one to the one for the instructions. So I obviously got a different part of the sprue to what I was supposed to get. So it's going to be interesting to see what I get next. Anyhow, join me in the next video, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.